Hello and welcome to Staking Mondays. We are live. My name is Ken. I'm here with the CEO and co-founder of Staking Rewards, Mirko Schmiedel. And today we have Bartosz Pozniak, CEO and founder of MyCointainer, a digital wallet that allows users to earn rewards through staking, masternodes, and airdrops. So let's get right into some lightning round questions here. What was your first investment outside of BTC and Ethereum?
Oh, this is a good question. It's been quite a long time ago. I would say it's. Let me just think. I think it was maybe one of the. I think it was probably Dash, but it was really long time ago. It was, I think, 6 years ago or something. So you know, everybody probably has some very interesting coin that picked back in the days that it was their first. So yeah.
Certainly, yeah, it's been a long way since then. And like right now, what do you think is currently the most underrated crypto project?
Oh, you guys, very challenging questions at the beginning, but well, it is quite well. I mean, there are plenty in the space. I mean, depends from the categories generally. I think. Well, from the NFTs, I like Flow, for example. That's one good one that I personally like. What else? Yeah, Flow is good certainly. Well, I generally do look forward to some very nice layer one projects that can be very scalable and have very low fees, and can do a bit of more challenging stuff for the layer one space. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to say the favorites. I think there are a few contenders. As you guys probably know, maybe Avax, maybe Polygon. Solana, obviously. So yeah, I think those are good one to watch out, I would say. But I don't think they are really, sort of the dark horses in the race.
Good insights there, Bartosz. So if you had to pick one sector in crypto that you think will create the most upside surprise in the next 24 months, what would it be?
Well, I would say there are probably two. Obviously, we follow a lot DeFi, right? So I think DeFi is massive. It will be huge. I think it doesn't really refer to the 2 years time frame. I think it will go much beyond that. I think every single year, mm, DeFi space kind of steals, sort of so to say, some vertical from like traditional banking, like exchange. Now we see dexes, loans, and so on, and this will only progress. So it will be massive market. Second one that I think is also going to be huge is obviously gaming, play to earn, connected with NFTs. This will be huge. Generally, gaming market is very massive on its own. Um, yeah, I think those two. Obviously, because DeFi is very close to my heart, so I'll put the DeFi on the number one.
Awesome. And then like who in the crypto industry is a role model to you? Someone you learned a lot from, or like someone you really respect in the industry?
Mm. Mm. Well, who's there? Well, I mean, I'm not going to be very original here. I like the founder of Binance. I think the Binance is doing great work. They build a lot of things. I generally do like the direction that they were operating in. They build a lot of great stuff. I think they are. I mean, I'm not going to be original here. I think they are doing fairly well. They execute very fast. I like production a lot, so I see how they are doing things, and it's certainly. I think it's for me. It would be probably him. Yeah.
That actually is an original answer on the show here. So there you go. And what percent of your portfolio is actually staked?
Well, I would say, oh, it's a good. Well, obviously, my majority of my holdings, I like Bitcoin. That's one. Ethereum is the second. With I would say probably around 30% it's staked. Maybe 35. But yeah, in our company, much larger share. I would say, much larger share.
Yeah, cool. And what's an activity you do to relax from the wild crypto markets?
Oh man, it's well, I do a lot of kickboxing and gym. So again, kickboxing is the best, especially in the morning, then running in the evening. So those are good activities. I mean, running is best, I think, for unwinding. Since when you get out, you do a very fast run, then you come back, you have very clear head. You don't have to really worry. You don't worry much as you sitting in front of the machine and just watching the charts, especially recently, right? So you just it's running is good sport. It's good, I would say. All the activities like this are great.
We'll be sure not to challenge you to any races or fights because we probably won't win. All right, guys.
You can always try, right? So it's always good to try,
Absolutely. All right, guys. So today we're going to be talking about staking, of course, what makes MyCointainer unique, what makes a good digital wallet, and why you should use MyCointainer, how the wallet experience will help onboard the next billion crypto users, and the next frontier of wallet development, wallet identity, wallet security, and more. So let's kick it off.
Wow, there are many questions in this one question. So let's start
Oh,
first.
it's just like what we're talking about today. We do it step by step, no worries. To start with, let's start with like first long form question. Like during the current bear market, and like let alone if you call it a bear market or not, but markets have been going down. Like, do you see any interesting changes in user fund flows or staking behaviors on MyCointainer?
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I mean, we have to be frank, we have not seen much of the massive withdrawals. Like, I think I'm quite surprised about this. I would expect that there'll be a lot of more withdrawals in this market. Maybe conversion. Well, the conversions to USDT, obviously this increased. I'm sure this is not really an surprise that obviously increased. Though I would say we have not seen much of the I would say exodus of withdrawals. I think that they are fairly stable level. So it looks like I would say it looks like majority of the users that at least we have that they are determined to stake. They generally stake their coins. So I don't think that's really changing behavior. I would say maybe it's more surprising behavior for us. I mean, as you can see, it's not really the problem with crypto markets, right? I mean, there is probably global uncertainty. If you look at the other markets, it's very much similar. Tech stocks. It's, I mean, it's not native to crypto. If you look at the tech stocks recently, it's, it tells the whole story. So
yeah. Is there anything like in particular, like over the last, like since you started MyCointainer, like anything that surprised you in terms of user behavior, like or like even during the bull markets and so on? I mean, like I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I would say what is really interesting or really surprising. I think it really tells me how early we are generally in staking. Like I try to explain staking even to my friends that are very techy or very technical, and sometimes I explain them like once or twice, and they still sometimes don't get it. So what really this tells me, and even the people that somehow manage to get to us, it's not unusual that people are asking how are we making those money, the yield, right? So you would expect that people might have some basic knowledge about staking, that you understand how this works under the hood, but it's not really true. Actually, I think it's really surprising for me. I would say it's really surprising because, well, like I mean, I've been in staking, more than 5 years probably now. So you would expect that 5 years is a long time for people to catch up and and things of that sort. But it's really not true. I think staking is really early days. I think people are getting familiar with crypto maybe much more, but staking is still very new. It's really surprising that things like staking or basic concepts in crypto are really not yet well known by a lot of people that are coming. So this was surprising for me, and I think this is probably the most surprising thing I would say in that regard. Yeah.
So maybe that leaves more room for massive growth in the next cycle here, right? And talking about the crypto infrastructure business that you're running today, how's your user acquisition cost and overall user growth been recently?
Well, I mean, I can tell you this maybe from the exact details. We generally like, if you look at our growth, we started a self-funded business, so we were not spending a lot of money on advertising, PPC, and things of that sort. It was all organic acquisition, occasionally Twitter giveaways with partners, and so on, so on. Broadly speaking, the costs were fairly minimal back then, and that's how we grew. We obviously were, for 3 years, I was funding the whole business from my own money. So only, last, well, not really last quarter, but Q4 2021, we got the funding, right? So now we managed to increase our spending on marketing. Therefore, we are using some paid channels and other things of that sort. So obviously, if you look at this, our cost of acquisition increased, and obviously, I think also you probably can see there are many other companies in the space, Crypto.com, Binance, many others that are fairly, I would say, probably loaded of cash. So the competition in traditional advertising is probably, I wouldn't say it's the best way for us to spend. We generally try to look for some alternatives, very, I would say, niche ways of trying to attract our audiences. So we generally don't want to go. I mean, in short, we don't want to go to the like open battle with, just like normal advertising, essentially, because it's really not suitable for us, I think, at this moment in time. So, but overall, I think mostly organic. Recently, extra costs related to the paid traffic. Yeah.
Do you feel like the bear markets or market downturns in general, like, ultimately empower someone like you, like as a crypto infrastructure builder, with like lowering, because like prices are going down, lower marketing costs, gas fees, other costs, and everything, but also the market is going down. So like, what's the balance? Is it actually like a good thing for you guys? Yeah.
I would say generally, I think generally it's good. It's good. I think short term it's good. It's good for us to I would say maybe close better deals with partnerships, business deals. I think this is really a good time for some deals, but for some not. Sometimes partners are hesitant to invest money in bear market, so they await for better times. Obviously, as you can probably imagine from the acquisition perspective, I mean, obviously in euphoria times, people are much more likely to spend, right? Rather than in the bear markets, they are probably would rather stay put. So even if you are making a lot of advertising, that they might not really be willing to, invest. So I think I would say it's a bit of a double-sided sword. So, but I mean, obviously we try to obviously adapt to any market. So, bear market, we just do different things. In bull market, we do just different things. So we just have to be very much adaptive, I would say.
Yeah, that's cool to hear. It doesn't matter what kind of market it is, you guys are still building.
Yeah, that's the most important, keep building. And that's why I think keep building is really important. We just keep building. It's always been the case. So.
And speaking of that building, so you're heads down running this business every single day. Do you even feel like we're in a bear market, or do you still see strong user growth and traction within your own network?
Yeah, we see the growth. We see the growth. Its growth will be, well, the growth is there. It's slower than in the bull market, I would say. It's slower in terms of the acquisition. That's certainly. So yeah, so this is obviously the case. Yeah, I think this is not gonna. I think this is normal. I wouldn't say this is anything unusual. Obviously, but as I said, what really matters is not really the short-term objectives. I think we keep building, since what really matters for us is the long-term perspective. We are keep building. I mean, you guys. I mean, I know Mirko for a while too. So we met, a very long time ago. There were bull markets, bear markets. It's short term, if you look at these things, we generally don't get too excited about the bull markets, and we generally don't get too upset about the bear markets. It's really about the long term vision. And generally, if you look at the data, we're very early. So yeah, we are not worried about that short term sentiment, but it always happens. I mean, it's not anything unusual for crypto market. It's stock markets behave the same way. It's just a human nature, essentially.
Fully agreed, and we are definitely still very, very early in staking. I think we are all pretty much aware of that, which makes it very exciting to work in the industry. And it's also great. I mean, what you're doing is like the wallets are really like a key customer gateway for crypto in general, like custodial, non-custodial, whatever. It's really a defining part of the crypto industry, and like all the crypto use cases, like the one entry gate. If you think about that, like what do you think is currently the most important missing feature in the average user's wallets experience? Yeah.
Well, this is well. Well, probably I would say it's easy way to earn money, like from staking maybe. So or yield earning. I think generally it's very difficult. I think it's above ways. Like the custodial wallets are easier because users don't have to worry about generating like private keys and seeds and so on and so on. But obviously custodial are easier to set up. Yeah, I think this is what we are trying to do. I would say this is I mean, this was my objective essentially. Why we started MyCointainer too. We wanted to have a very simple wallet where people can only deposit money and they get instant rewarding. I think this is really cool. I personally, we want to keep that functionality. Probably I would say forever, to not to overcomplicate the user journey afterwards, like doing anything very complicated. When you deposit money, do something else then, and so on and so on. We generally want to simplify the process a lot. I think this would help things. So if you look at the wallet in that perspective, I think this is what we are trying to do, just to deposit money and earn yield. I think this is really what should be done. Generally, the reason why I'm saying is because it helps adoption, and also it really well, again, I used to read a lot, and I still read a lot of the feedback from the customers. It's not for us. You might think, oh, like, yeah, this is so easy, but as I mentioned, it's really, really, really important to simplify a lot of processes for the customers, and this would help adoption. One second, if they obviously later can have an appetite for learning, they can always do something more complex, but we try to lower the entry barrier to pretty much very minimum, and a very simple user experience, and broadly speaking, the user experience will be the key going forward, for pretty much every product, regardless of the wallet, whether this is the wallet or is it the platform or is it any other solution for that matter.
So you would say the UX is actually way more important than the technology or like education, because it's the one thing. Yeah.
I think it's important. I don't think it's like either or. I think all the aspects are important. Education is really important. The technology underneath it's super important too. I mean, like recently, regarding the wallets, I mean, there are like more MPC wallets, which I think they're pretty cool. They are certainly, I think, but again, certainly they will do very, very well. I think they will do very, very well. I don't see much yet B2C solutions in the MPC wallets that are, well, there are maybe one or two like non-custodial. They will do very well also, I think. So technology is really important, no question. I just think that no matter the technology underneath, if you have no great user experience and great product, it's not going to be used by customers. I mean, it's going to be really tricky. I mean, yeah. So, but anyway, the excellent product is a combination of many factors. Like you mentioned, technology, UX, education is important. So it's not like there is one thing that I would say it's super it's above or makes you makes a great product. I think there is all the pieces needs to be combined into one.
Yeah, definitely. And you talked about the simplicity of onboarding a new user. So talking about that current new user experience, what do you think the wallet industry in general can do better in onboarding the next million or even the next billion users? And where do you see, from maybe the user feedback that you're reading, where do you see lots of users getting turned off from crypto and think to yourself, well, that's a shame, fixing that wouldn't even be that hard?
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably going to be quite problematic. Well, I think when you look at I think the most probably the hardest part, I would say, not really the hardest because this can be solved, but I think it's a fortunate and unfortunate thing, but let me let me explain. So, long story short, there is more and more regulations, right? This is the case. Now, it depends how this unveils, but even now, a lot of users must be verified to some degree, right? So this part of the verification of the users, it's really painful for users, but it's painful also for platforms like us to do it. I think, it's I see a few projects that are trying to solve that. Like, I think there is a Fractal. I think Fractal is kind of like the login button, kind of like a Facebook that you log in, you can verify yourself, and then you kind of hop in between the different platforms. You log in with Fractal, and then you are verified. And there are probably many more of products like this on the market, but that I'm maybe not aware of. But I think the verification is very tricky, and no, it's not really, it's tricky underneath, but I would say that the verification of users in order to allow them, let's say, do processing fiat to crypto and generally being verified across the whole ecosystem, I would say it's quite important, at least for now, in order to increase adoption and in order to probably include institutions into the loop, because I know we are all about no verifications, all private and it's all cool, but the reality is different. Like, if we really think about like adoption, then I think this is nevertheless necessary to do it.
Yeah, fully agreed. And I mean, there are also many integrations with like the .eth wallet addresses already in some wallets. And yeah, like, do you think that's just like accelerating, or like, are there any other features that you think like that will be coming to like almost every crypto wallet soon, like something like the digital identity verification?
Well, we mean like a new features that are like kind of groundbreaking or some cool stuff, or as a
I mean, it's something that's just like, that's, if you think about in 1 year, or like even in 3 to 4 years or something, that's like every wallet just gonna make use of that technology. Or it's like you mentioned MPC, for example, and like
MPC, certainly, it's no question that's gonna be there. Well, regarding the features, I mean, as I said, maybe it's my bias here, but I mean, again, I'm looking at this from the perspective of bringing the customers in. I mean, generally speaking, I think any type of yield, like any wallet that will not be providing yield, it's not it's not going to be alive, I would say. So it's really, I would say yield, it's going to be the thing. It's really one thing. I mean, MPCs underneath, yield, obviously the usual stuff like swaps and things of that nature. But I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's about like anything that really, it depends. Again, it depends. Well, obviously, like, probably, collection of like your NFTs that you can share. Certainly, it's really all about those things that will come together. I think what is also would be great, I would say, again, I don't think it's really fancy, but I would say that there will be very seamless integrations between the crypto and fiat, so that you can have like the wallet that is connected to your card or phone. Then you can just use your balance in crypto, and it's kind of on the fly converted to say euro or whatever. It's obvious. It's nothing really that is unusual. It's about, I would say, fulfilling the needs and just looking for the opportunities. Yeah, I think those would certainly be there. I wouldn't. Again, I mean, I wouldn't chase any hot things generally. I think we still. I mean, again, I see a lot of the people are trying to in crypto trying to come up with something that is really, not every single technology that is gonna show up will be adopted. It's not all, sometimes about the technology. Again, it's about the understanding the needs of the users and giving them the things that they want. So I think this will be for like 2 or 3 years. This will be standard. I think this will be very standard thing to have. And then I think again yield very important since again, I mean, now the interest rates are going up, obviously, but you know what I'm saying. So
yeah, definitely. I think we can relate to you with yield being utmost important to the user and just information on that yield in general. So let's take a look at the decade ahead for MyCointainer. What to you is an extremely successful, wildly successful outcome for MyCointainer a decade out from now?
Oh, you mean what? So what's the question? Like, how would that look like? Or
yeah, so maybe like KPI, so amount of users,
yeah,
amount
sure.
of
I mean, it's how the world. Okay, how the world looks like. Well, I mean, honestly, I can. This is a great question. It's a decade ahead. It's a long time. I like it. We generally focus on short term, but I can tell you that the vision. It's really very simple for us. Again, we will be. This is. I don't think we've been announcing this publicly, but we will be working much more towards decentralization. So, late this quarter, we are starting our project. It will be fully on chain, and it will involve a lot of borrowing, lending, pools, and things of that sort. Well, if you now extrapolate that into the future, like let's say 10 years ahead, generally we want to like a kind of decentralized lending and borrowing. This is really important again, but we will try to do it without collateral, maybe sometimes with collateral, maybe mixture of both, maybe mixture of extra thing. I don't want to get too much into the details because it's, maybe some of the details are maybe a bit of, I don't want to say secretive, but it's a bit of a secret sauce, I would say, how we're going to do it. But decentralized lending is essentially, if you want to borrow money for something, you borrow instantly. That's one thing. But again, what I think is also really beneficial with that decentralized solution, that what we want to do is to help like people to get funded for many projects across the world. Essentially, it would rely very much similar on the same technology underneath. To the point that maybe at some point we could have like ATMs where people can, deposit their monies or to donate in the physical world. Like, I think there's a lot of maybe like machines that you can like put the coins, and then they are like real coins, and they are donating to certain causes. So we would certainly like to be in the real world as well, helping a lot of the people globally. Obviously, the KPIs that are normal, like it's really, 10 years ahead. Well, it's very simple math. Probably like 100 million customers is good. Like, I think they would be very happy with this. Yeah, but I think it's more about the impact. I generally don't. Well, obviously the numbers are important, but it's more about the impact what we make to the world. I think this is the most important. I think the impact about the world is very simple. Like, we would want to be the place where the new users say like, oh, MyCointainer has introduced us to crypto because it's amazing. Like, I didn't know that I can use lending and borrowing, and it's super easy. Now I understand it. And they kind of like, wow, I wasn't living in this old world, and now MyCointainer introduced us to this whole new world. And this is impact. This is really like how many people we can actually bring to the crypto world, and they would be happy that they can use the tools, they can save their money, they can build their financial future. This is the impact that we would like to make. This is, I think, for me, the most important. That's how we try to structure the vision in that way. Not really about like any cool features of things of that sort. Obviously, we need to build things, but it's more about the impact. Like I think the borrowing and lending is one thing, and then the helping with pretty much the same stack underneath, with people like earning lending for the different causes. It will be on chain. Maybe we can also do something really cool where where people are being kept accountable for what they are spending their money. If you donate it to them, this is really important. I think this is something like the founder of Twitter. At some point, I think he donated like 1 billion or something money, or he built like his charity or foundation. But then he made like an Excel spreadsheet when you could actually see his transactions. But this is a bit, well, the intention is very clear. Like he wanted to be transparent in the way that he's spending the money. And I think the same thing we can bring to the world, whereby if you supporting certain causes, then that the transactions could be then labeled by the people in various ways, and then you can actually aggregate some data, you can extract some data, you can do some averages, and then the main reason is that there's a lot of money being spent badly right now. A lot of corruption, bureaucracy. You donate the money, you don't know how they are going, where they are going, what they are being spent on, and so on, so on. And like if you look at this from the impact perspective, then a lot of money is actually going to be lost by people, and people now are hesitant to help people, to help others. If this was really transparent and very clean to everyone, people receive the feedback as well, how their money were spent on what, and so on, they would be much more willing to be spent, and the money itself would be spent for the better causes, which in the grand scheme of things would help the economies, the people, the communities across the world, and the world would be better as a result. So this is like the something that I want to do maybe after a few years when we grow with MyCointainer quite a bit. So it's really about the impact.
Awesome. Can't wait for that. And like right now, what do you think? You already talked about like most underrated projects in the beginning there. What do you think is currently the best alpha in the market? Like thinking about like if you recommend some of your friends like to get into crypto, like what's a great investment staking strategy that like? Obviously this is not financial advice, and but yeah, it would be just interesting to hear your perspective there.
Sure. I mean, I can tell you all right. I wouldn't give the exact answer, but I would say what is the best strategy, I would say, is to do a lot of research very early on the project, and then get into it, have a strong conviction that this project is great, meaning project team and what they are doing, look at the results, what they are delivering, and stick to this, and keep compounding early. And if you've done that, then you would be well off down the line. I mean, if you start early, generally in life, in investing, generally you will do well. But in the project, if you get on early, and you do a lot of research, you see that the team is delivering, then you will capture a lot of the growth of the project down the line. Plus, if you compounded the coins, then you'll be good. So I would say, like, if I look from the results perspective, this would be the way to do it. I wouldn't go much into I know what I would not recommend. Over trading. This is certainly I would not recommend it. I would not recommend trading generally. I would not recommend if you're new to this. I myself been in trading for, like, I bought my first stock BP in 2009. So just after the oil spill, and that's like, I don't know, 13 years, and I used to work in financial institutions, and I built a lot of technical like trading applications and things of that sort. So, and I know fairly well about a lot of things about the strategies and things of that sort, like AI trading and all that jazz. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I mean, I would say, as I said, I'm a little bit, I would say, like a grandpa in this crypto space. But generally, I'm much more I'm more of a holder person than like trader. Like I would not recommend trading. I would certainly prefer to stick with the great project that has good people, good track of delivery. Go in early, obviously, because if you're early, then you'll capture much larger profits down the line. And whenever you feel comfortable, just exit or stick to it longer. So I think this is really my strategy, how I would do it.
Get in early, have a strong conviction, and take benefit of compound interest, which is the seventh wonder of the world, right? So
yes, it is. It really is.
And the slogan, crypto is all about not your keys, not your coins, right?
Yeah.
Can you walk us through more of the non-custodial features that MyCointainer has mentioned before?
Yeah, of course. Well, as I said, we will be. Right now, we are mainly centralized. Like we hold the keys for the customers. In the future, the project, it will be called Earn a Network. So it's already our domain. So it will be our project. It will be purely non-custodial. I think it's the way to go for us. We don't really have problem with that. Like I would say, if you look at the people, our objective is very simple. We want new people to come to us, educate them, grow with us, show them how the staking works, and later, obviously, when they grow, and the time obviously will go by, many years ahead, maybe 5. User experience will be simplified. A lot of things will get much simpler. People will learn. I don't think there is any way to stay centralized in maybe 5 to 7, 8 years. I think it will be really hard for any platform, any centralized platform, to exist. It will be impossible. So the non-custodial way in that case, it's the only way to go. And we will act accordingly. I think it's true.
Awesome. And so keeping that in mind, like, who would you say is currently like your biggest competitors? Obviously there are like the I don't know, Nexo, BlockFi, Binance, whatever. And then there are like, there's you. And like, how do you differentiate today and also in the future, I guess? Yeah.
Of course, well, any platform that really provides yield, it's a competitor of ours to some degree. Celsius is obviously that they're massive, they're big. We like what they're doing. Obviously, they educate customers a lot too. Next, we mentioned, obviously, we do a few things. So we are not. Oh, there are many. We are working in few verticals. We are building our own nodes. We have our own exchange aggregator. We have our custodial staking, non-custodial staking. Right now, we are also finalizing node deployment solutions. So it will be B2B solution for businesses to run their own nodes and validators. So we operate in few verticals. So like if you look at some of the guys, like you say Figment, they are mainly probably running nodes and validators. Essentially, if you look at the companies, they operate in some verticals. So so this is those would be in every vertical. We have different competitors, I would say. But how do we differentiate? If you look at the yield earnings, so what we are trying to do right now is to include more ways to earn the yield. So it's not only going to be from staking, but we would give you cashback from crypto, miner loans, and so on, and those rewards will be essentially compounded together with staking instantly to give you the highest yield. This is our direction. It's very, very simple. Like if you imagine the customers, whatever they are doing, like if you are shopping, then such cashback from shopping will be automatically sent to our wallet, and it will be added to your balance. Then balance just turns into staking, and so on. So we like that compounding factor. I think this is something that we think it could really. We'll have a few other things that I don't want to share maybe right now, but the objective is to have the highest yield by integrating a lot of ways of earning. And so this is certainly one of the things that in the B2C space we would like to do. yeah, I think this is one of the biggest, I would say, advantage that we would like to see for us in the future. Yeah.
And talking more about that yield, how do you guys specifically generate the yield? Are you running validators for these networks that you're operating on?
Yeah, well, multiple ways. I mean, mainly it's our validators, nodes, also. Sometimes we delegate to the different validators. Sometimes we use different protocols from which we generate money. We'll include a few more. We will go to the loans business. Yeah, I think this would be enough for now. I would say for at least for this year. Again, as I mentioned when we release cashback, the yield. Well, it's not going to be a yield, but it's going to be the money that you will be added to the staking. So you will get the yield from on staking. And yeah, I think anything that you would do from which you can earn extra money and then automatically being given to your wallet and then compounded again to all your stash of coins, it's of our interest. So
yeah, cool to hear you kind of diversify with those strategies as well. So this is the exciting time of the show where you get to break an announcement for us here live. And what do you have for us?
Yeah, I mean, so I think that there are probably this. I would say, well, let me look at the time. So we have May 9th. Yeah, so I think in a few weeks we will be, as I said, launching cashback from Crypto Life. So this is B2C product. So that's really important for us. It will be the first product that will seamlessly connect with staking automatically, and we will be adding in the future new products. And the second, as I mentioned, node deployment. It will allow businesses. This will be, again, our first product in the B2B space that we will be generally advertising. So a lot of businesses will be able to run their own validators nodes. Pretty much, I would say, not only validators, but a lot of different nodes for any purposes. So we're generally really excited about entering the B2B space. B2B space will be very important for us as a business too. Again, we not only try to help customers, but also businesses. And then we are collaborating now a lot with many partners. So we're really excited. I think the future is really bright. I would say it's don't get upset about the bear market. Just keep the focus and keep pushing.
Awesome, a lot of stuff going on there. Really looking forward to following you guys over the next months and years, of course. And then we have one community question here from Benedict. What role plays the community at MyCointainer? Maybe you can walk us a little bit through what role does the community have in terms of growth for your platform, and also what are your challenges for building a community, and how important is it for you guys?
Sure. I mean, well, it's really important. I would say it's super important that I can. Well, we track a lot of. Well, let me start from the feedback maybe, because feedback is really important, right? So the feedback is really important for all the customers, right? So if you really look at, we are looking very deeply on the support. So all the feedback that is coming to support, we reiterate it so that we can build better product of ours, right? So this is really great. Now, what else? I mean, we have there's a bag request of the customers that they can tell us. We reward them. That's also important thing. A lot of the new coins that we are adding, it's also to the platform. It's also driven by the community. So if we don't have some coin on the platform, then users can say, hey, I want to stake this coin with you, and we're adding this. So there are many ways, essentially. We want to build our product together with the community, right? So we always listen to community, what the feedback they have. Well, even the negative ones very often too. It's really part of the process, I would say. Sometimes things are not working. Sometimes they suggest some ideas, and I think yeah, it's really important. I mean, we really value that all the feedbacks. It's really I would say it's a foundation of building the product. So yeah, I mean, as I said, if you please community share us all the feedback, negative and positive, both. We will be considering this. Is really important going forward.
Yeah, that's great to hear the importance of the community and how they play a role in even building the product.
Of course.
Since you're very knowledgeable in the space, you have a deep connection to a lot of these users. What is one main piece of advice you would give to any crypto investor, new or established?
Well, I would say just understand very deeply the project that you invest. I think this is really important. Like, don't listen to, just make your own decision. Just do a lot of research on your own, and make a good, at least make a good background for your decisioning, and don't get swayed too much by strong opinions from, I would say, strong influencers. I think this is really important. Just have your own, and educate yourself a lot. This is probably the most important. Educate yourself a lot in crypto, build a solid foundation for yourself, and then you will be much better person to make your, you will not be distracted by the noise around you. So I think those two are important. Just educate yourself as much as you can, and it pays off in the long term.
Yeah, I can't put enough importance on education, and we at Staking Rewards hope to help educate users along their journey as well.
Yes, of course. It's a good research. Yes,
and
yes.
Bartosz, it was great having you on the show today. Where can users go to find more information on you and the projects you're working on?
Yeah, sure. So obviously mycontainer.com is our platform. You can read more about all the products that we have. Again, remember to go to the feedback, send us the feedback, what you like, what you don't like. As for myself, you can always go to Twitter, Bartosz Pozniak. It's my handle. And yeah, again, send me a message if you have any interesting comments, feedback, some collaborations. I always respond with maybe slight delays sometimes if I'm busy, but yeah, always good to get in touch.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for watching today's episode of Staking Mondays. Please subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share this video around if you've liked it. As always, guys, I'm Ken, for Mirko, for Bartosz. Happy staking. Take care.
Take care, guys. Thank you.